Hi, and welcome back to Purple Collar Life. Well, everyone knows that the Stihl 500i is a powerhouse. It's an absolute beast, but it's a bit too much saw for a homesteader like me. Most of the time what I'm cutting up is logs about this size, and while this is hardwoods here in Pennsylvania, this is Pennsylvania hard oak, the 261C that I have does a great job cutting through it. The MS261 is nearly perfect, but imagine this. All the benefits of pro-grade fuel injection in the size of a ranch saw with the responsiveness of the big boys. That's where the Stihl 300i comes in. Or at least that's where I think it should come in. Let's talk about the Stihl 300i, a concept that I'm begging Stihl to make while we cut with our MS261. Let's talk about the Stihl 300i and what it should be and why Stihl needs to build it. Now I know what some of you are saying. The 500i is a professional grade large saw, and that's why it gets the fuel injection. But if you think about a couple other industries, for example, Cub Cadet lawn tractors, their 42-inch mower with a small displacement engine gets the fuel injection. If you think about motorcycles or street and trail bikes, my Yamaha XT250 fuel injected, definitely not the largest, definitely not the most professional grade. So let's talk about why fuel injection matters and the benefits of fuel injection in a chainsaw. When you think about why fuel injection matters, it's because it gives you instant throttle response. It's got automatic altitude and fuel mix tuning. It's better for cold starting. There are no carburetor adjustments needed when you've got fuel injection. It's got consistent power under load. And it benefits from the modern emission and efficiency improvements. This is why the 500i proved that fuel injection works in handheld chainsaws. And let's be real, the other downside of the 500i is the cost. When I first looked at the 500i years ago, it was expensive. But it has gone up exponentially over the last 3, 4, 5 years. I made a video several years ago about why I chose the MS261 instead of the 500i. And the primary reason was the cost. The secondary reason is the weight. I can't imagine trying to limb up a tree with a chainsaw that heavy all the time. It's just not, for me, a perfect everyday use saw. So that's where, like I mentioned, the 300i I think is in that sweet spot. Light enough to carry around with you, buck up trees like this, do some limbing, do some property maintenance and cleanup, use it for your firewood bucking, but not the crazy expense of a 500i. A 500i is definitely overkill for firewood that's 12 inches, 18 inches, 20 inches, or even 24 inches in diameter. If you're using a saw as big as the 500i, you're gonna get that fatigue factor on long cutting sessions. Again, I don't do this every day professionally, so I don't have the stamina build up to handle a chainsaw that heavy all day long on a Saturday cutting up firewood. It's definitely not ideal as an only saw for the average chainsaw user. Let's talk about why my MS261 is almost the perfect saw. It is a great weight with really good balance, easy to operate. The 261 has proven reliability. Stihl's been making this as their smallest professional grade saw for years, and it has been used by homesteaders like me as well as professionals for a long time. And it stands the test of time. People love it today just as much as they did when it first came out. I mentioned earlier that the MS261 has that power to weight ratio. You feel like you're operating a much larger chainsaw as far as the power, but the handling and the weight of it is perfect for someone like me. In just a few years, I've used the MS261 for all kinds of stuff. Obviously cutting up firewood, but also limbing some trees, storm cleanup after a storm, maintaining trails that I go through on the four-wheeler and on the tractor through the woods. Perfect everyday saw, except it's not fuel injected. Let's talk about why I think Stihl should build the 300i. First of all, the mid-size market is huge. Homesteaders like me want pro features without pro size and pro cost. Fuel injected chainsaws will eventually trickle down to the lower class levels like this. A 300i could quite possibly be Stihl's top seller. I'd probably buy one on day one, and maybe you would too. Leave a comment down below if you think a Stihl 300i came out, if you'd be lining up at the door to buy it on the first day or the first week or the first month that it's available. I might have got you there with the title and a little bit of a clickbait type theme, but I really do think the Stihl 300i is the saw that Stihl should be making. I think it is in that class that we all want. It's got the benefits. I'm probably never going to go out and buy a 500i. It's too much saw and too much cost for me. But I might be willing to spend a bit more than I spent on this MS261 to get a 300i. The Stihl 300i is not a real saw yet, but it is exactly what the next generation of chainsaws should be. So I'd appreciate if you leave those comments down below. If the 300i came out, would you buy it? Or if not, what do you think is the perfect CC size for a homesteader saw? I think the 261 is right in that size range. I think the 300i is just a little bit more power, a little bit more bang for the buck. And if Stihl could build it, keep the weight down, keep the price reasonable, and give us all the benefits of fuel injection. I do a lot of chainsaw work in the wintertime. It's cold out here. Carbureted engines typically don't start as well as fuel injected engines. That's one of the reasons why fuel injection became popular in automobiles. But when it comes to chainsaws, Stihl has already made some improvements with the CM-tronic type system in our 261. It's supposed to automatically adjust for different fuel mixes. It's supposed to automatically adjust for different altitudes. And that's awesome because you don't want to have to be adjusting your carburetor between seasons, between locations, or between tanks of fuel. But just imagine a 261 or a 300 fuel injected. So leave those comments down below. Would you buy a 300i? Do you think fuel injection should be on saws? What is the perfect CC saw size for a homesteader like me? Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative and entertaining, please give us the thumbs up. Click that hype button. Leave those comments down below. Let's start a list here of those of us who would buy the 300i. Let me know in the comments, what do you think that price point would need to be to make it affordable for individuals like us who don't use this thing every single day, but when we use it, we want to enjoy the power to the weight ratio that would come with a 300cc fuel-injected saw. Thanks for watching. I got some more wood to cut up here, and then I got to get these rounds back to where we're going to split them. I made a video recently about the perfect firewood gloves and how they don't really exist. I'm still reading through the comments on that video for you guys to let me know what is the best firewood glove out there. This one, as I mentioned in that video, these Stihl leather gloves are my favorite ones for running the chainsaw. But if I was to handle all these rounds with these gloves, load them into the big tool rack on the tractor, these would very quickly get holes in the fingers. So I actually switch gloves between running the chainsaw and loading the rounds. I'd like to stop doing that. Make sure you check out that other video and leave a comment in it. What is the ultimate firewood glove? Does the perfect one exist? I'm not convinced.